3 of the fantasy football season, and he has a few sleepers I got at the quarterback position this week. The first guy, Justin Fields of the Chicago Bears. So Andy Dalton last week went down with a knee injury, and the highly anticipated rookie, Justin Fields, he's going to get a start in this game at the Cleveland Browns, and I think he's going to run a lot in this game, a lot of conservative passes, and with his running ability and playmaking ability, I think he could have a decent game. So the first 2 games of the season where Fields appeared in, week 1 at the Rams, 10 passing yards, 3 yards rushing and a touchdown in a goal line package he came in. And then last week in the second half for Cincinnati, coming in for Dalton, 60 passing yards, an interception, and 31 yards rushing. So right here, wouldn't be a surprise to me if we see Fields rush for 60 or 7 yards in this game, and maybe 150 to 200 yards with a passing touchdown. Right here, Cleveland, I know they've got a good front 4, but against the pass this season, so far they give it the 3rd most fantasy points to quarterbacks. And right now, Justin Fields, he's getting added in a lot of fantasy leagues this week. But this week, I think he could have a good ball game, and definitely deeper leagues and 2 quarterback leagues. He's definitely a quarterback sleeper. The next quarterback is Daniel Jones of the New York Giants. Another recommended ad on the waiver wire this week was Daniel Jones, and he's got a great matchup at the Atlanta Falcons here, who are giving up the most fantasy points to quarterbacks so far this season. So the first 2 weeks for Jones, good fantasy stats. Week 1 versus Denver, 267 passing yards, a touchdown, 27 rushing yards, and a touchdown and a fumble loss. And week 2 at Washington, 250 passing yards, a touchdown, 95 yards rushing, and a rushing touchdown, and another rushing touchdown called back in that game because of a penalty. So right here, Giants, they're 0-2, but Daniel Jones, he's a better fantasy football player than a real-life player. And this week, what a great matchup versus the Atlanta Falcons, who obviously can't stop anybody. He's another guy that I would even take a shot at and put him in your starting lineup in 12-team leagues or deeper, and obviously 2 quarterback leagues or deeper leagues, because this week versus Atlanta, I think he could get 25 to 30 fantasy points in this one. And he's definitely a quarterback sleeper, still available in 61% of fantasy leagues. And the 3rd and final quarterback sleeper I got this week is Jimmy Garoppolo of the San Francisco 49ers. So the 49ers off to a good start so far this season with a 2-0 record. And they're going to have to put up a lot of points on the board to keep up with this high octane offense in the Green Bay Packers. So the first couple weeks here for Jimmy G. Week 1 at Detroit, 314 passing yards, a touchdown, 2 rushing yards, and a fumble loss. And week 2 at Philly, 189 passing yards, a touchdown passing, 20 yards rushing, and a rushing touchdown. So week 3 here versus Green Bay. So far, Green Bay's given up the 6th most fantasy points to quarterbacks in the early going. But Jimmy Garoppolo, I think he could go out there. I think he could get the job done here and put up a decent fantasy day, anywhere from 20 to 25 fantasy points. Because in my opinion, I think we're going to see him throw the football 40 or 50 times, especially with all the injuries at the running back position over there for the San Francisco 49ers. So that's a few quarterbacks I have as sleepers here heading into week 3 of the fantasy football season.